this keyword. For instance, assume that you put heart failure. What does it mean? It means when I put heart failure and click on go, it identifies 106,941 papers that are published in this engine, accessed by this engine, that have heart failure included in it. Okay? Now, and it shows you from 1 to 20. So what should I be looking for when I'm talking about this paper? This paper, the first thing that's mentioned are the authors. Who are the authors of this paper? Because sometimes you might be looking not for a keyword, you might be looking for an author. For instance, if you know that this person is a pioneer in this area, you might look at his or her publications in this field. So you might put a keyword for a person rather than a topic. So these are the authors of this paper. This is the title, a case of vancomycin resistant and so on and so forth. And this is the journal where it is published, the year of publication, the month of publication, the volume, the issue, and the page numbers. Okay? And this is an identification number for PubMed, and it's unique for every single publication. For every single article that's published using PubMed, you have a unique identifier. Okay? Now, okay, we have something called MESH, M-E-S-H, MESH terms. MESH terms is usually used whenever you want to make sure that you cover all different terminology for a certain topic. For instance, diabetes. If you are looking for diabetes, how many ways you can reflect on diabetes? You can put diabetes as it is, you can put diabetes mellitus, you can put DM, you can put so many different things. So the point is you can reflect on a certain topic by different terminology. So the MESH term is a way to tell PubMed, look for anything under this category. Anything under diabetes, whether it's called diabetes mellitus, whether it's called DM, whether it's called anything else, it will identify it for you. So you put heart failure, for example, and it will take anything, all fields that are related to heart failure. There are some restrictions or limitations that you can put in your literature search. For instance, you might be interested in searching the literature, but only for the English papers, right? Because you might identify things in French, things in English, in Spanish, and so on and so forth. So you can put under languages, I want only English papers. I want papers that are published only on humans, not on animals, okay? You might say, I want only in males or females. You want to say the journal subgroups. You might decide to limit your search in a certain age group, and so on and so forth. Type of the article. Sometimes you're interested in a clinical trial only, or in a systematic review. So the point is, in PubMed, it will allow you to specify certain limitations for your search so that you do not have a big search, you'll have a limited one. For example, in this case, they limited to children between 0 and 18 years, English, and in humans. So it gives you a note here that this search, 10,429 out of the 106 that you found, 106,000 that you found, 10,000 are limited among children, English, and the humans. The PubMed ID number, I talked about it. Basically, it's a number that's unique to any single publication. And basically, this is where you want to start looking at your papers. Okay. Email updates, you can register with PubMed. Usually it's very helpful. I'm not sure if you have done that before, but it's very helpful for you to register with PubMed. What does it mean? It means that instead of going every time and doing the search that you are doing, right? You can tell the PubMed, whenever a new paper is published in my interest, in my research interests, send me an update, send me an email, okay? So you'll create a username like any other thing, like Hotmail, like Gmail, like Yahoo, like anything else. You'll specify your login name and your password and so on, and you'll put your research interests. For example, you'll say, I'm interested in oncology or pharmacoepidemiology or whatever, and you can save your search. And whenever PubMed finds a new addition to your search, it will send you this link to your email. So here is where you specify your name, the name of the search that you are doing. Would you like to receive email updates of new research results? You say yes. Email to whoever the person is. And you can specify how frequently do you want the emails to be sent to you on updated search. Maximum numbers of items to be sent, it's specified 5, and so on and so forth. At the same time, when you are doing the search, you can send your search to a certain places. For example, you can send it to a text. You can have the full text of the search, and you can save it, for example. It's very important to keep track of your search. In other words, literature search is time dependent. Am I right? In other words, if you do a literature search today and you do it after 6 months, you might have different results, right? Because new papers are being published on a daily basis. This is why when you are doing a research and you do a literature search today, you have to keep track or record of the search that you did, so that when you compare it with the literature search that you do it after 6 months or 1 year when you are writing your paper, you can have a comparison. So it's very important for you to keep a record of your search by sending it to a text, to a file. You can print it, you can email it, and so on and so forth. Sometimes, for example, if you are doing a literature search and you know a friend of yours is doing a study in a certain field and you come across a certain paper, what you can do is you can send it to them by emails. Something very important in PubMed is the tutorials. If you look at at this side under tutorial, there are few videos that you can just click and watch so that you can have better expertise with PubMed. Now, before I go into this slide, I would like to highlight that PubMed, the more you work with PubMed, the better you will have a grasp of its work, right? So this is just an introduction for PubMed, but the best way for you to learn how to do a good search is by practicing, by working on it, watching few tutorials, and you will be learning from your own mistakes. Now, finally, it's very important to organize your references. In other words, what programs are available to help me make my own library? Whenever you are doing a research project, you can create a library. What do we mean? It means that the papers that are relevant to this topic, right? In an electronic fashion. So we have 3 main programs that are used. EndNote software is a program that will help you organize your references. In other words, what you can do is, this is the website of EndNote, and you can have a download an evaluation version. But most institutions would have such a program in their list of programs. So what is the EndNote? The EndNote, you would open it, and you will be able to access PubMed through the EndNote. In other words, you can enter the EndNote, and the EndNote will do the search for you from PubMed. But what's nice about it is that you do not have to write down the reference. For instance, when you are doing a literature search and you get a certain article carried out by a certain person, by a group of authors, and so on, when you are writing the paper, you have to put the author's name and the title of the project and the reference and the journal and so on and so forth. You have to do it manually. This is what we used to do before. But the problem is when you do it manually, you'll have a big chance that you will be doing a mistake, right? So instead of doing that, you will ask EndNote to extract this information or the reference information from this article and put it for you in the document. So eventually, when you are doing all your search and eventually you find maybe 50 articles, you don't have to worry about the references and the way you put the references and so on. EndNote will do it for you, and it will organize it for you. What's even nicer, when you are writing a paper, when you read a paper, for example, or when you are writing a paper, you have to put references in the body of the text, right? So when you mention, let's say, Jackson et al. Found this, and that in their study that was carried out in 2007. You have to put the reference by putting a small number on top of it, and the list of the references at the end will summarize all the references. So EndNote will organize the way you put your references at the end and the way you embed it into the body of the text. Another program is the Reference Manager software, and the third program is the ProCite. All of them have the same characteristics of organizing your references and your search. These programs are bibliographic management softwares that allow you to collect and organize citations and insert the citations into a word processing program such as Microsoft Word in formatted bibliographic styles. What I mean by formatted bibliographic styles, different journals have different styles. Some of them start with the author name, some of them start with the title of the paper, some of them put the year at the end, some of them put the year at the beginning or in the middle. So instead of retyping everything, you can just ask this program to change the format according to a certain journal, and it will reorganize everything for you. It makes life much easier. You can search online, and this is what I mentioned. You can search online bibliographic databases such as PubMed, organize your references and images, and create bibliographies and figure lists instantly.